All right, in this explainer, we're going to journey right into the heart of Europe. We're here to uncover the incredible story of a plant family that has truly mastered the art of survival.
Because, when you see a wild orchid, you're not just looking at a pretty flower. Not even close.
What you're really looking at is a cunning strategist, one that relies on secret alliances and some pretty elaborate tricks just to exist. And it turns out the diverse landscapes of Hungary provide the perfect stage to unravel their story. So let's start with what makes this place so special for them.
Get this, Hungary is home to up to 55 native orchid species. That is a remarkable concentration, and it makes the country a real European biodiversity hotspot for this family.
Our guide on this journey is going to be one of the most widespread ones, the green-winged orchid. Its species name, Morio, is actually Latin for clown, which is kind of a nod to its colorful jester cap appearance.
But before any orchid can show off those amazing flowers, it has to form a critical partnership, one that's hidden deep down in the soil.
So here's the puzzle. Orchid seeds are as fine as dust, and they contain absolutely no stored food. Now, they evolved this way to be carried for vast distances by the wind, like tiny parachutists. But that advantage comes at a huge cost. It's a seemingly impossible start to life.
Well, the secret is that orchids are what we call obligate mycotrophs. It's a fancy term, but it just means they are completely 100% dependent on fungi to live.
So the fungus basically acts as a surrogate parent. It finds that tiny seed and starts feeding the little orchid embryo everything it needs to sprout. It's an absolutely critical first step. Without this fungal connection, the seed just can't germinate, period.
You see, this dependency makes them incredibly vulnerable. Any harm to that delicate fungal network in the soil, say from pollution, it can just wipe out an entire population of orchids. But, okay, assuming they survive that first big hurdle, they then have to face their next challenge, reproduction.
And once they flower, oh man, orchids deploy some of the most ingenious and frankly devious tactics in the entire plant kingdom just to make sure they get pollinated.
Think about it. Most flowers offer a sweet nectar reward for any insect that stops by. But many orchids, they are masters of deception. They offer absolutely nothing in return. It's all a trick.
Their book of tricks is amazing. It includes mimicking the look and smell of female insects to fool the males into trying to mate with them. This is a strategy perfected by the Ophrys genus. They are the master catfishers of the plant world.
But some species take it even further. The Epipactis or Helleborine orchids, for example. They basically act as the plant world's drug dealers.
And the strategy is just brilliant. The drugged pollinators, they get clumsy and slow, so they end up spending way more time on the flower, which dramatically increases the chances of them picking up or depositing that precious pollen.
But for all their cleverness, for all their amazing tricks, these survivors depend entirely on specific, pristine habitats, and those habitats are now vanishing.
You see, different orchids are specialists. They've evolved to thrive in very particular environments, from sunny meadows to wet fens. This actually makes them excellent bioindicators. If you see them, it's a sign the whole ecosystem is healthy.
The number one threat is habitat loss. Our little clown orchid, for example, has seen a 12% decline in its known habitats. A big reason for this is that traditional grazing and mowing practices, which used to keep these fields open, have been abandoned.
And on top of all that, their essential fungal partners are being killed by soil pollution, while climate change is drying out the very meadows that the specialist bog orchids need to survive. It's a tough situation.
But there is hope. Across Hungary, there's a dedicated effort underway to protect these floral treasures. Every single orchid species in Hungary is legally protected, but this number represents the highest level of that protection.
So what does 250,000 forints, that's about 650 euros, what does it actually signify?
It's the legal fine for harming just a single plant of a highly protected species, like the globally rare Bugok helleborine or the iconic lady slipper orchid. And even our more common guide, the green-winged orchid, carries a pretty significant fine.
You know, when you think about it, from their secret fungal packs to their mastery of chemical warfare, orchids are the ultimate survivors. They evolved to outsmart nature itself. But the big question now is, can they outsmart us? Because their future depends entirely on our ability to protect the complex and fragile worlds that allow them to thrive.